Okay, this video is titled a reference about should teens be ashamed to be pregnant. So there's a lady, Gloria Milan. She has a hashtag Teen No Shame. So I reviewed her site and so forth like that, and I believe I may be a follower of hers, or I'm not aware of her engaging with my stuff. But we have communicated in the past, and it's pretty interesting on her side. I guess, being that she went through the experience that she went through, you know, she's not, certain, it is not to, you don't want to feel bad because it might make you suicidal or less quality of a parent. I get that. But my response is, I could agree to the point that if you become that, but the point I don't agree in is the preventative measures. I do believe in preventative teenage pregnancy. We don't need the misery wants company, because teenage pregnancy is a thing that needs to be reduced and it needs to be prevented. Like, if you know that your family don't love you, why would you bring a baby around your family that don't love you? Like, if you know your family gonna kick you out the house, you need an ID for everything. And okay, people are not into politics. Why would you put yourself in a situation where you're gonna need to get a lawyer and all that? Hope you find the right shelter. Um, Hopefully you're not the person, that gets on Craigslist and then somebody trying to cut the baby out of you and stuff like that. What has been going on, and they could happen to a person, an older person too. It can, but as a teenager, um, your main thing needs to be focusing on trying to build a life for yourself. And definitely, I would encourage you all, date serious. And true, there are social paths out there. There are people that will show you that they're perfect and they'll be ride or die. They will really do it. They will show you that they are almost a ride or die person. They will have you hoping that they are a ride or cry person for you, and they will leave you crying. One thing more so, you shouldn't. More so, if the person cannot have a place for you to stay, and you got to be, uh, you know, a asking them for a place to stay, they're going to, um, more so, you gotta be asking them more for money. It's like, why would you get pregnant? Like, you need to at least be 19. And I'm not gonna say, I'm gonna say 19, 20, because you can legally do everything on your own, sign your own signature. But before then, that, your parents or somebody have to do it. This is not the 70s and 50s where things were a little, different. Now they got a tab on everything. Okay, they got tabs on everything. It's not like the 50s and 70s where you could, things was a bit more survivable. Like, you could really get there, and you know, parents could have got together and really work things out, and so forth. But an emancipation is really not that easy. And most time they'll still put you in the foster care. And what they're doing is they'll put you in the foster care and put the child in two different foster care homes. And then what? You know what I'm saying? So to prevent that, best thing is prevent getting pregnant. Um, it should be teen shame if you intentionally go get pregnant. Why would you go be, I'm gonna call a burden? It is burdening. It's imposing, because when you have pains, when you have child care, somebody has to call into work, somebody has to take off from work to make sure that this child's, being taken care of. You have to find child care. Child cares aren't dependable. They aren't. I've seen it for my own self. Um, where, you may have a daycare that had a good reputation, but then it goes out due to some other stuff. And there's something in my region where this lady that had a child care center, she's being charged with murder of her husband. And she had a real good child care, real nice. They did activities. I mean, with a deck of cards, I may have would send mine there. Really, because all the children that, I encounter with, or, whatever, that, that was a very, that it was a real good daycare. And here she's charged with that. Then, um, and then also her sister had a daycare also. Both of them had very nice daycares. But like toward the end, before they closed down, which was about, I guess, about 7 years ago. I'm not exactly sure. It's been somewhere in the 7 year range they had closed down because they had been open for about, as far as I know, oh gosh, 15 years or close to 15 years. And you know, toward the end, I don't know whether dementia kicked in or what happened. And they weren't old. Matter of fact, today may be in their 50s, both of them. I know they're sisters. Um, it's just a very unfortunate. I know, another example is people. This guy he was a teenager at the time, and he had these two girls fighting over him, and it was to be who was gonna get um pregnant for him first, and he was really excited. And these was friends, and he was real excited when this girl became pregnant. And the unfortunate of it is that the girl ended up, this happened, I believe, if it didn't happen last year, it happened the year before last. So I'm not sure, exactly sure. It was within the last 2 years she has passed, but I know it ain't this year. Um, but about 2 years ago, she died, and the child. Let me see. She was young. She was about 14 or 15. So when she died, the child should have been about 14 or 15, somewhere in that range. And, you know, things weren't like from the teenage times. And so I encourage you you can't trust nobody like that. If you don't have a good family, don't be getting pregnant. You don't come bring a child into unhappiness when you know that. I ain't encouraging nobody to get no abortion, but the best thing is if this guy ain't got stuff written in paper. You know what I'm saying? It's like before you get there, even as a teenager, you need to make him write right lines. I will not talk in class. I will not talk in class. Need to be like, I will take care of this child. Like get there and write down everything that's gonna be needed and what you expect when a child come in. I expect him to have a dream and some magic Houdini pop over him when his baby come or you pregnant to be the perfect consoling person. It just don't happen at least 60% of the time. And then, like I said, you go get yourself in the systems, and what happened good in one situation can be a total disaster, nightmare, and irreparable for you. So I definitely would put this message out. There's a show, and I used to definitely watch it when it first came out. I used to be a faithful watcher of 16 and Pregnant and Teen Mom. And I saw the show as though it wasn't glorifying, because the reality is if someone want to get pregnant to get on the show, it's only 5 people. And people, they're going to choose the top of what is convenient, who they get their hand on. So you may not get chosen like the lottery. Take some people forever to win the lottery, so what? Um, and they probably have an agreement where you may get a stipend, which may be, you know what I'm saying. You see what happened to these reality stars. What happened to, they had one girl, she got arrested for prostituting somewhere, I believe in Amsterdam, New York or something. I forgot the area, but she was in this prostitution. And we seen how Amber, she's writing a book now. She went to jail and she was extremely just overactive. This is all on TV. And oh gosh, when I think about it, I'm like, dang, Gary was really a workable dude. He was there for his daughter. He did his best to take care of his daughter, and she was overreactive. And I don't know if she expected, what people expect people to be Superman because you have so much stress and weight of you being a teenager. But I mainly want to speak. This is for the person that is not pregnant. And I understand those that have, when they have lost a child as a teenager, people get that lost gap feeling. They usually get pregnant right back again. So the parents that force their children to have abortions, what usually happens is they usually get pregnant again. They usually tortured. They usually, uh, they usually commit suicide. Um, a lot, a lot happened. Um, and it's I just encourage you to prevent yourself being in that measure. But for those that have had an abortion or miscarriage, I would definitely recommend keep yourself occupied. Um, do everything to keep yourself occupied. Whether it's getting in sports, and parents don't think going melt them out down in church that they're just gonna be either open idle time or more depression. That's what it's gonna be. So them getting nagged about how they need to be good, they should be ashamed, boom, boom, boom. And then the same people that you're gonna be trying to introduce them to and try to compare them to, guess what? Your child gonna be looking at you at the back of their head of how dense you are, because they most likely got more skeletons and probably about to have a baby the next month or two that you don't even know about. Or their parents, it's always something more to it. So I would encourage anyone. Okay, I was saying how much time was there. I was encouraging anyone, if you've had an abortion, you've had a miscarriage, to definitely keep yourself occupied. If you're not with that guy anymore, I encourage you can't just sit around weeping, moping. Keep yourself into activities. Go travel. Go to the museum. Occupy yourself in a positive environment. And you're young. Look forward to the future of, totally from a repair. But definitely, that's why we can't wait till our children get 16 years old to try to teach them discipline and expect them to be perfect. That's why we can't, do this passiveness with our children. And back in the old days, the way some people said they caught whoopers, and then you kind of find out how strict and hard they say life was for them, and it's like, well, damn, well, you would have been more scary and conscious to be having a baby and having sex at 12 and 14 back in the day, and this was a time that teenage pregnancy was very high. I even had a great aunt. She had a child at 12. Her daughter ended up having a child at 12. Um, no, her daughter was about 14. Her daughter's about 14. And, these were some critical, fancy bunks, kind of people. They're always, it's like, well, shouldn't you be more, who are you to, be criticized on? Somebody ain't even doing what you're doing. You say, like, life couldn't have been so hard for you because you wouldn't have did what you did. And it's like, in all reality, well, it's like they really got a lot of support when you look to see where they was and everything else. It was like, ain't nobody obviously told you nothing about it because, not the way that you act or the way that you're doing. So I encourage anyone that, don't put yourself in a situation to get criticized for that. People got enough being criticized within their family for, who their dad may be, what skin color they are, them not being the prettiest as the others in the family. They may get criticized for not being, of having the same interests, or exact trademark as the rest of them, or being, the one that they feel that they don't owe any, that they don't have to owe anything to. Well, I'm cool. You don't have to owe me. You know what I'm saying? You feel you don't owe me nothing. Don't come criticizing and come with expectations as though I owe you something. And so as a teenager, you should not, and that chain has to be broken of these parents that get there and intentionally mind wash or mind spend their children. Or if they get pregnant, this the way I'm gonna keep them in check. Nah, that chain got to be broke. And those that are, you're in an abusive situation, you're in an unhealthy situation. That's more so, unless that person that built your house, put your name on it. That's more so you don't need to get there, having sex with them. And that is my message of teen reality.